Okay, we finally got a good weather day to fly out here at the Kugler Mill Park. I'm going to fly the Endurance Quad as part of this F5, and then back to the checklist. What I need to do is, first of all, install the landing legs, make sure they're secure. All the way into the sockets. The props are already installed, and I checked the tightness of them yesterday, so it just remains to unfold them, and while we're doing that, be very careful about the wiring. So 2 outer arms will just come out. And they'll just lock into position. And the 2 inner ones. And again, we're just watching for wiring, make sure nothing gets pinched when we do this. Okay. So make sure that external GPS and compass is secure. These are the wires to the camera. Connect those later. So the props are installed. This is the forward part. This number 1 position here needs the clockwise rotation. It needs to be clockwise on the opposite corner, and the 2 remaining ones will be counterclockwise rotation. So everything's good. These props, in fact, have not been removed since the last flight, which was successful, so I don't expect any problems there. I'm going to go ahead and start up the laptop. So we're ready to run the mission planner. So that's working. Okay, next thing to do is install the camera and the gimbal. I'm going to use rubber bands for this instead of the supplied screws, because I'm finding that's a lot faster to secure the camera, especially when it's a little bit cold today and the screws are very small. So I'm going to go ahead and use a pair of rubber bands to secure the camera to the gimbal. Take the lens cover off, and the camera's all ready to go because we checked it out and set it up last time. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach the camera to the gimbal. And it's a very easy matter to use these 2 rubber bands to secure the camera to the gimbal. I use 2 for obvious reasons, for redundancy. I think 1 would be enough to hold it, but I use 2, making sure it doesn't cover up the lens, so the camera's nice and snug, it's not going to fall out. So that's all good. Install the main battery and the voltage monitor alarm. It's the voltage alarm. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the main battery out of the car. The main batteries are in a cooler to keep them warm. I'm just going to keep them in the car until I need to use them. I don't want them to get too cold. So they're inside a LiPo bag inside. And I'm just going to take them in order. Number 1. Put it back in the car. Got a little bit of sun today. Probably help keep it warm. Battery feels like it's a good temperature. I'll make sure I got my battery settings here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and mount the battery. As you can see, there's a rubber band around it telling me it's fully charged. So the way I've got this is I've marked it up with a forward position. So I always get it in the same orientation every time. and I've added some Velcro to the side of it so I can actually attach the power cables. It makes it a little bit tidier. So we'll go ahead and put that on there, the Velcro straps. I found it, but I just adjust the battery to be level with that forward edge of that plate. It usually gets me where I need to be. It's kind of tricky to adjust these straps, just got to be patient. Nice and tight. That should give me a good CG. It's about where it needs to be, but of course I'll check the CG. And what we need to do now is install the battery alarm, make sure that is in fact a good battery. So let's get the balance port here. The black wire goes to the negative. Okay, there's the battery alarm. It's telling me 25.1 volts, so that's good. It should be good for this flight. I want to set the alarm level to 3.7, so I need to check that is in fact 3.7. It's kind of hard to see in the daylight, but 3.7. Okay, 3.7 volts. It's all set, so that will alarm when we get down to a 3.7 per cell. And check the CG, the center of gravity. Got these holes on the side here, so we're just going to hold it in the holes and see if it's nicely balanced. It's perfect, it's not tilting, so that's good. The center of gravity is good. Okay, so next is to check the propeller disc planes and make sure that they're square. Check each one across the aircraft here, make sure they're not twisted, because these are only held by screws and sometimes those blades can get a little bit twisted. I see there's one there that looks a little bit out of plane. I'm just going to tweak that slightly. That one looks good, so the props look good. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the ground now, some safe distance away. And come back to the checklist. To inspect the wiring for chafing and make sure the FPV antenna is attached on the underside. So we're going to be looking at wiring here, making sure that nothing's broken. Very, very small wires, but everything so far looks okay. The FPV antenna is on the underside, it's right here, and that looks like it's in good shape and in the right position. Okay, so we need to open the mission planner on the laptop. I'm going to angle that a little bit away from the sun, kind of hard to see with the glare. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open Mission Planner. Attach the telemetry transmitter to the laptop. We are going to use that today. Telemetry antennas attached. Back to the checklist. Verify the antenna is down. It is. See it from here. Connect the main battery and secure the leads with the Velcro. And then we ensure the camera gimbals move on power up. Attach the power cable. And as you can see, I got some Velcro on the side here that just holds that power cable nice and snug. Okay. Watch the camera gimbal. Sure it initializes. Looks like it is going down there. Attach camera power, FPV and GPS cables to the ports on the camera and turn the camera on and make sure it's in camera mode. Okay, my connections here. I have the GPS, which goes on the back port, and the power was on the forward port. It's like the camera is on. I just want to check the mode here quick. Yep, it's in the right mode. It's all good. It looks like the camera is gimbaling freely right now. I'm going to leave that for a while. I set this mission up, make sure we got the right mission uploaded. I'm going to fly a manual flight first, a rectangular pattern. There just happens to be a nice sheet on the ground in the middle of the soccer field. I'll probably use that. Alright, let me check the Lumineer FPV transmitter. Set to band A channel 1, 500 megawatts. I haven't changed that recently, so I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Kind of hard to see in the daylight, but yeah, we're 500 A1. So we know what our channel is there. Okay. There we go. Okay. And my antennas. Now I'm going to turn it on. And I should be getting a picture from the camera already. There it is. I got good GPS. And I've got a good picture of the ground because that's where the camera's pointing right now. Okay, making progress. Okay, I'm sending the waypoints now to the drone, and hopefully it'll pick up the flight plan on the flight plan page. There it is on those 3 waypoints. So that's looking good. Looks pretty clean where I want to be. Okay. Now, after we've done that, we would set the get the transmitter controller, the Spectrum controller, which is still in the car. We get that. And with this, we need to make sure the throttle is always back and all the switches are forward. Every single switch is forward. Once I've powered it up, I can check that I can actually gimbal the camera. Okay. So let's turn it on, verify we have the voltage in the right model. We have the EQ, quad 1, flight mode 1, 8 volts on the transmitter. That's looking good. Throttle's down. All the switches are forward. I can go ahead and hopefully, I don't know if you can see this, but I just want to make sure the camera gimbals freely with the controller here, and it does. And we're good there. Okay. So the camera's rotated to face forward where it wants to be, so we don't get any damage to the lens from bounce off the ground. Okay. So in the head-up display, the mission planner, we need to check now that the GPS horizontal, looking at HDOP here, it's 0.69, so that's good. And airspeed and ground speed should be 0. They're reading 0 and 0.2. Battery voltage is 24.89. It's looking good. GPS fix, we got a 3D GPS fix, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that. So now we need to verify the heading is correct. So I'm going to orient the EQ here down the edge of the parking lot just to make sure the compass is pointing in that same direction. So best I can, I'm going to point it down the edge of that and see if it's the same as on Google Earth. Right down the parking lot. So we're good there. So the compass is good. If that wasn't good, we'd have to probably do a compass recalibration. We don't want to fly it if we're anything close to 10 degrees error there between the compass and the known direction. So the auto mission is loaded. It's right there on the screen. There are no extraneous waypoints outside of the flight area that will give us cause for concern. So that's good. I'm going to verify that geofencing has been set. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn off all the Wi-Fi on cell phones. So on my cell phone, I'm going to make sure I'm in airplane mode right now. Before I do that, I'm going to check the area for any signs of magnetic interference or any 2.4 or 5G networks that might interfere with the flight. So I got a little app that does that. Wi-Fi analyzer is what I'm using here. And hard to see, but right now it's looking for 2.8, I believe. 2.4, sorry. So 2.4 networks. It's not showing any. And if I go to 5G, it's not showing any of those either. So this is a pretty dead area in terms of Wi-Fi. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my cell phone in airplane mode just to be on the safe side. We're getting close to flying now. I'm going to activate the mapping camera. I'm going to be taking some photographs every 2 seconds here. So I'm just going to go ahead and press the shutter button. We can actually verify that on the FPV monitor. We still got good GPS and we're taking photographs every 2 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and arm. You notice the controller's on the table with the throttle down. I'm going to leave that there whilst I arm it. On this one we arm it. Switch. The switch is on the side of the antenna here. You'd hear a different tone there. Okay, and it's solid red on the switch. The GPS is flashing green. That's good for now. So, getting ready to fly. We're going to fly a rectangular pattern. I'm going to take it out where that tarp is. That would also be a good emergency landing site. And I'm going to try and fly to the corners of that tarp, yawing at each corner point, and then return and land. I'm going to be doing this mostly in the loiter mode. So to fly this, you want to initially take off in stabilize mode. Stabilize mode, and we're going to move it up and out away from me, away from the operator. And once we are away from in a safe area, in a safe altitude, and the throttle is holding the hover, we're going to switch to loiter mode. And once we're in loiter mode, we're going to verify that the drone is in fact holding position and it's got a good GPS lock. If we see any toilet bowling that is circling around, we're going to go back into stabilize mode and land it and investigate the cause. Usually the cause would be a misaligned compass. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and land. Before landing, well, we're going to be in loiter mode for landing as well. And that's the first exercise here, is to do the rectangular pattern. So one more last look at the. We got 24.85 volts, and we're looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and arm it now, which is basically the throttle comes to the right and down. Hopefully you heard that tone, arming tone. So now I'm just going to run up the props a little bit just to make sure the direction of rotation is good. It all looks good. I've got clockwise across the corners, counterclockwise across the corners. That's all good. I'm in loiter mode, or rather, I'm in stabilize mode because switch A is down. I'm going to arm it again. Okay, here we go. Okay, it looks fairly stable now. I'm going to put it into loiter mode just to check for any toilet bowling type activity. Looks pretty steady right now. Yeah, it looks like it's holding pretty steady. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down a little bit. Slowly, very slow throttle movements here. And I'm going to put the camera down so it's looking at the ground, so we can see the corners of that rectangular tarp. I'm going to do a few little maneuvers here to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to. Looks like the yaw is good. Translation is good to the right, good to the left. Okay, forward. Okay, aft. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Right now it's gone into the telemetry. We're about 60 feet. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, so it'll show up on video actually. Yeah, I'm going to move to the corner start position of the tarp. And I'm going to just yaw it around a little bit here. Get it lined up better with the tarp. And bring it back. Okay, it looks like I'm just about over the corner here of the tarp. I just need to yaw a little bit. Yaw to just get aligned with the edge. And I'm going to proceed to the far corner and then yaw it the other direction. I'm going to move forward right now, very slowly, till I reach the other corner. And I'm going to yaw it around to the long edge of the tarp. Not quite there yet on the yaw. It's just a little bit difficult to get that yaw right today. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, go along the edge of the tarp here. It's like it's tracking it pretty well. Of course, I never really thought about this. The top may not be square. I didn't really go out there and check it. It looks square from here, but there's a chance it may not be. Okay, let's get a little bit closer to the corner. It's like I'm having intermittent GPS problems with the FPV camera, which I need to investigate. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a wiring problem or not. Now we're just going to fly the next edge and just yaw to the left one more time. And then proceed to complete the rectangular course to the starting position. And there we have it. Okay, now we're going to return to land. I'm going to continue going forward a little bit here. And I'm going to yaw it around so the back end's facing me, and then I'm going to back it right back in here. We're still in loiter mode. It's still pretty stable. And I'm going to go ahead and land it more or less where it took off. And very slowly the throttle's coming down so I can get an appreciation of the descent rate. I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer to me. I don't want it that close to the grass over there. That should do it. And of course the camera now is going up before we land to avoid any damage. Now we can complete the landing. Throttle's all the way down and down and to the left. To disarm it, go ahead and put the controller down. Right now we're at 23.8 think that's good to do this mission. So now we're going to do an auto mission, and the sequence here is just a little bit different. Again, all sticks forward initially and arm it. Good there. Props are good, everything looks the way it was before. I'm going to take it out to the middle of the field, and then I'm going to engage the initially the loiter mode and then the auto mode. Okay, we're going into loiter mode. Just to look at the behavior, making sure it's still stable. Looks like it's got a good GPS lock, so we're good there. Good position lock. So now if I click it into auto mode, it should complete the mission automatically. And if I want it to return to land, we're still taking photographs, so we hopefully will have good data here. So the switch D comes back to the auto mode, which is the second position. I'll see it's climbing. I'm going to monitor its progress on the laptop to make sure it's still behaving itself here. Okay, it's just about finished its mission. It's on its way back home now. Again, it would do an auto land if I allowed it to do so, but this time I'm going to land it manually again. Okay, we're going to go into loiter mode. That's good. I'm going to bring the throttle down. And before we land, the camera's coming up. Throttle all the way back and disarm. Okay, switches forward. And this time I think we're going to go out there and fly. We've got good pictures for our ortho mosaic that we will do later on. Now what I want to do is just check the voltage. Flying around a point of interest, I'm going to attempt to set it up to circle the goal over there, and as if I was circling a point. And we're going to be taking photographs the whole time. These are going to be oblique photographs. So let's see how this one goes. All switches are forward, throttle's down. Okay, ready for takeoff. Camera is up. Into loiter mode. Make sure it doesn't do anything peculiar. Looks pretty stable. So I'm going to go ahead and angle my camera down a little bit, not all the way down, it's probably about a 45. And then I'm going to go to my point of interest, which is the goal. And I'm going to attempt to circle around it. So there'll be a combination of right stick and yaw here to get around this point. So there's my goal. Adjust the sticks here to try and keep a more or less constant circle around it. Of course, the Phantom Pro can do this automatically, so I'm doing it manually right now. Okay, after that POI test, I'm going to go ahead and take the drone out a fair ways across the field, simulate kind of a lost link and an RTL just to see how it comes home. So this would be kind of an emergency procedure. So I'm going to be in RTH mode right now. See if it remembers where it came from. Looks like it's climbing. Camera's going to be up, ready for landing. Voltage 22.4. So I'm going to call it a day on this one too. The flight time has been throttle mid position. And when it starts to come down a little bit more, I'm going to go back into loiter mode and land it manually. I'm into loiter mode now. Should hold there till I pull the throttle back. Okay, it's coming down. Okay, battery says 22.9, so probably want to retire it at that point. I think that's all the flying I'm going to be doing with the EQ today. We did the mapping mission. We did a point of interest manually around a point, and I think I'm pretty happy with the aircraft today. So after flight, we disarmed, we took the battery out, and you turn off the controller.